I might make a video. Okay, I'm just going for a walk in probably our favourite area. We live in Palm Cove, and this is, I can't remember what this area is actually called. It does have a special name. If I remember during the video, I'll say it. Otherwise, there's a sign out the front if we head out that way. It's basically on the northern side of Palm Cove. Sort of, I feel like if you were to walk along Palm Cove Beach right to the end, then you head left through the car park near the caravan park. This is a bit of a hidden oasis sort of area up behind. We only live about 5 minutes from here, but yeah, I think it's, to us, it's probably the nicest part of sort of this Cairns Palm Cove area. It's probably too expensive for us to ever be able to buy in.
Really nice.
Yeah, it is. It's very well looked after. We've had a bit of rain lately. The wet season is sort of starting because we're in middle of November. Usually starts around nowish. So it had been very, very dry for the previous 2 months, like no rain whatsoever. So everything went brown. But obviously a tropical area, it all bounces back pretty quick once the rain comes. We haven't had anything near what we will end up having, but it has been wet. It's kind of like if you've been to a tropical area like say Singapore or something. It's not like it pours all day every day. It's just when it rains it absolutely tumbles down, sometimes only for 5 or 10 minutes. There's actually a section of this area we haven't walked up before. I didn't intend to make a video today, but it just looked pretty, so I thought I might. If you notice me breathing hard, I haven't got much exercise in the last week or so. As I mentioned in another video, because I've got MS, I get treatment once every 6 weeks, so it knocks me around for a few days. So this is the first walk after this treatment. It's sort of a self-contained little area in here. There's hotels. This is all residential up here. There's hotels, there's a gym, I guess there's a few cafes. Not really any shops as such, but you can see there's still areas that are still being developed. There's a bit of a housing crisis in Cairns at the moment. So there's a lot of building going on because there's obviously a lot of blocks that no one's ever built on. And they're all sort of rushing to do it now, it seems. So everywhere you go, particularly on the northern beaches, all of the empty blocks are starting to be built on, as you can see there. Also right behind me. This is, I think, because it's sort of a special area and it's expensive. This never really got as brown as the rest of the area, so I think they have a good sprinkler system. You notice Cairns is very well designed for the wet season, so there's the stormwater drains are massive, and there's lots of these sort of drainage areas to try and prevent flooding. We're just with Dimi and Xiaoli today. We actually, because Bruce is getting on a bit, we usually just go for maybe a 20-minute walk with him, a very slow walk, and then we drop him off at home, and then we go for another, usually like 7 or 8 k's, I guess, most mornings. Sometimes go in the afternoon as well, but as this area doesn't really have any cool time, even in the middle of winter, so the afternoon walks is really just done if we feel up to it. which again, because of my MS, often I don't, but I'm usually good in the mornings. That's sort of been the way it's worked for me the whole time. MS is different for everybody, but for me it's mornings are usually good. There's some mornings I feel terrible, but most mornings are good. So yeah, we try and, it's usually like an hour and a half in the mornings. Does that go anywhere, or is it just driveways? That's right, we'll head back. I mean, there is, or is it? It does look like a road. As I said, we haven't walked this way before, so we don't really know if we might get ourselves stuck. You can see basically to the west of Cairns all the way along are mountains or big hills. Cairns, this whole area doesn't get enough credit for how pretty it is. We sort of didn't remember because we'd been here before. We didn't remember that part because you sort of focus east when you come here. You focus on the reef and all the stuff you can do. Yeah, there's no road there. All the stuff you can do related to the reef particularly. So you don't sort of, unless you're here for a good long stay, you don't really focus west. When we came on holidays, we went up to Corando, which is sort of the first stop up on the tablelands. You can catch a chairlift up there, which I will probably do a video of at some stage. And then you catch this old train back down. But we just didn't sort of notice that because to the west you've got all these mountains. It's actually very pretty here, pretty much everywhere. Because I remember people saying before we even came here for a holiday, they said Cairns itself isn't that nice, but it's because it's like sort of a gateway area. But it actually is really nice. Basically where we live is kind of just like that direction, sort of at the foot of that mountain, but maybe about 1 kilometre to the south, so to the left as we're facing it. It's always very quiet around this area, although you do see lots of people with dogs going for walks. We're doing this at like about 6:30 on a Sunday morning, so it's not really the busiest time. We're very early risers, partly because of the dogs, but also just naturally we sort of kind of best part of the day being up at 4:30 or 5. This morning it was 3:30, so that's not completely normal. Yeah, so basically looking back that way, basically the foot of that mountain straight over there is where we live. What you doing, little one? As I said in the first video, sorry, the wind's just picking up, so the sound might go a bit dodgy. Cairns is very dog friendly. Didn't used to be, but now it is, particularly up here. You sort of see with this area, I guess, maybe lots of holiday houses, but also people retiring or just lifestyle changes coming up from the south. Which kind of is a bit of an issue for the locals at the moment, I think, because of the COVID-19 and everything else associated with it, more people working from home. There's a real flood of people moving to this area, just like we did. The only thing in our defence, I'll say, is that we had already planned to do it before COVID-19 started. And I think we may have brought forward the time slightly that we were going to move. So sort of housing prices have gone up, rentals are difficult up here, and it's forcing locals out a little bit An area like this, I don't think is really having too much of an impact on that, because it's not really a local sort of area. You can see it's more of a retirement or a lifestyle change area. So if anyone watching this is watching because they are thinking about moving up here, obviously it's a great place. Just do serious planning and thinking about what you're going to do, particularly for living. I can't remember if I said in the first video, we actually stayed in an Airbnb place. We planned to stay for 6 weeks. I think we ended up staying maybe 2 months because we couldn't get a place to rent. We didn't have, you hear stories at the moment of people applying for like 50 places and not being able to get a place to rent. We only applied for 6, but it actually did come as a bit of a surprise to us. We didn't think we'd have any issues getting a place, but we got knocked back on 5. And this isn't really advice or anything, but you probably need to think about rents. The sort of mid-range rents is obviously where there's a flood of people trying to get them. So whilst the rents here are lower than you might get in a Sydney or a Melbourne, you may find yourself sort of pushed into a higher rental bracket than you were expecting to try and get a bit less competition. It wasn't really what happened to us, but we weren't particularly planning to live so far out of, not it's that far, it's about 20 minutes out of Cairns, but we weren't planning on moving to Palm Cove. We were looking, because we were staying in Whitfield, which is sort of close to the city, and we did want to stay around there, but yeah, we just couldn't get a place, so we ended up coming up here, which we're happy with. But yeah, so you got to think seriously about it. It's not a case of just moving here and just finding a nice place and being able to rent it. And we might just take a quick look at the gym, because it might take you a while. We were very fortunate because, in some ways, because of there weren't many tourists, which meant that our Airbnb place wasn't busy. So they were happy for us to stay for a few extra weeks. So yeah, give yourself flexibility. You don't want to think it's going to take you a couple of weeks and get an Airbnb place and then find that they've got someone else coming in after you and you can't stay and you haven't got a place to live. And some of the hotels here have got sort of long-term stays at the moment at decent prices. So, but yeah, it's just planning ahead. Like say 3 or 4 years ago, you could just come up here and you'd be in a place in a flash and away you go, but it's not like that here now. Also, a lot of people who have holiday houses here, again because of the pandemic, are moving into their holiday houses. So they're actually, whether they used to live in Cairns and maybe went to work in Brisbane, they're now coming back. So a lot of the lack of housing is because of investors are not renting them out anymore because they're moving into them. I'm just walking up this area. I think this is sort of looks like a hotel area. The main reason I wanted to come up this way is because I think about joining the gym up here. So even as a place to stay, the hotels here are in the middle of the city in Cairns. Some of them are looking a bit run down at the moment, I guess because they're struggling financially. These ones up here are very well looked after. And as you can see, it's very green, very pretty area up here. I think that's the gym in there, is it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's on the phone. Yeah.
Okay. Nothing too exciting about the gym from the outside. Apparently it's got a pool and stuff in there. I don't know if we can... Oh, there's people in there. I guess that's a cafe. Oh, there's the pool. Okay, so the gym's got a nice pool. Nice outdoor seating area. Sort of calls itself a health club more than a gym. Most of the photos there was almost no one in the gym, but people sitting in their swimwear around the pool, which I could handle, I guess. Okay, this is another hotel, Seabull. I assume we're going to walk out this way. Where are we? 15 minutes. Okay, I might cut it off now. When I post this video, I'll actually put the name. Oceansedge, that's what it's called. Yeah, so Oceansedge at Palm Cove. As you can see, pretty area, nice place to stay. At the moment, you probably get decent rates on hotels. Queensland, as I said, I think I said this is middle of November. Queensland opens to the rest of Australia about the middle of December. So you can expect there'll be a bit of a rush on and probably prices will go up. So that'll be exciting for us. Okay, I'll leave it there. Thanks for watching.